They've bypassed the usual scrutinising processes. They've displaced traffic from side roads with high car ownership onto residential main roads that is already suffering from illegal levels of pollution.
Yes, yes.
And in doing so, the democratic process has been subverted, emergency legislation has been misled, consultations have been denied, and equality impact assessments have been overridden. That is a disgrace, and that is before we talk about LTNs dividing our communities.
Yep, yes, yes.
Certainly has destroyed the lives of the most vulnerable people in our community. And when I talk about vulnerable people, I'm talking about people with mobility issues, the elderly, the frail, the wheelchair dependent, those with sensory conditions, and even people who just need to do their daily school run, or carers.
Yes.
Carers, the important people in our community that can't get to the people they have to care for. This is the problem. So we are calling out those in charge from the town hall today. If they don't come out, we're going to take a little stroll up to Highbury Corner there, because Highbury is shameful. So if Rowena Champion and the person that is given up his role in the council and is deflecting to the mayor's office to help him continue with these persecutory policies would like to come out and talk to Islington residents now, we would be ultimately very grateful. Richard Watts, who has overseen the persecution of a person who has served the council in its entirety for 24 years, who has been fired for sticking up for real Islington residents.
Yes.
So maybe Richard Watts would want to come down and say a few things. But I'm going to go round, I'm going to talk to a few people there, and all I want from you is one or two sound bites. So when I come up to you with this speaker, think about what you're going to say, give it a shout out, and speak for fellow Islingtonians. I'm coming round.
Thank you. Woo!
Connor, what have you got to say?
Stop ignoring us. The elderly, vulnerable and disabled are being shafted yet again. Listen to us.
There you go. Give a shout.
It's a disgrace. It's dividing community. It's not people friendly at all.
Thank you, thank you. How about you, Sam?
Last time I went to get my jab, it took me about an hour and a quarter, and it's about a quarter of a mile over the back of Essex Road. Should be a 10-minute walk.
Well, there you go. There you go. There is an Islington resident that is being persecuted by these draconian policies that the council don't seem to care about Islington residents. They don't seem to care about those people that need to get around their own area. So, Gary, give a shout out.
Mr. Richard Watts, are you going to come on down?
Give us back our street! Give us back our street! Give us back our street! Give us back! Give us back our street!
Walls and ears, my son, and be like Dad. Keep mum became the catchphrase of the war. We stood alone. And when the blackout came, while Jerry played his game,
Oi, put that bloody light out!
we stood alone. When Willie gave his sign, we sang the secret line. Have you any dirty washing, mother dear?
Consultation! Consultation! Give us away! That's it! Well done! That's it! Give us back our streets, and all this comes back to them. Thank you very much up there in the left-hand corner!
We were the home guard then.
It was sheer folly, men, but the Scottish soldier always true. Fine and true.
We looked them in the eyes.
Sir, did you think that wise?
There was a warning.
And what the council's done, they said they want some money just to cover their cost. So they want 10 grand. But what horrendous Hackney has done is that they asked you to make a pledge. You don't put your hand in your pocket, but what it means is you pledge a pound, a five or whatever. and whatever you want. And what it means is, if they lose the case, then you promise to pay that amount. But the judge has gone right in their favour, that's why it's only 10 grand, he didn't have to put up 30 grand. They really fancy their chances. But Hackney Council are trying to do this as a deterrent for the court case to go ahead. So get onto their site, pledge a £1, £2, £5 or 10 or whatever you want, sell the crown jewels, just to make up the money, because then that case can go ahead. Because once Hackney wins that case, then it'll open up the floodgates for all other councils. And we'll have this mob on their ears.
Give us back our street! Give us some flavour!
We don't want your money-making schemes. We don't want them.
Who are prepared to show their faces in public and support an issue, democracy, that they believe in. And that is very different from the people opposite us in the town council. Labour Party and their supporters who campaign only very late on in the election show their faces. For me, they are as far from democracy as can be. They represent nobody apart from themselves, apart from the interest in that council building. Our goal
We didn't stand alone, did we, Angela? We stood together. I think that boy's name was.
There is one other little thing about these LTNs and all the cameras that are making all these big fines. The council use that to finance certain things, but it's come to our attention that over the next 3 years they've earmarked £9 million. That's 9 and 6 zeros, £9 million for future LTNs and bollards, road closures, etc, etc. And guess what? That's going to come out of your council tax. Or sorry, it's going to be added onto your council tax. Plus the declines increase is cut from local council taxes, so it's going to be another increase on your council tax. How do you feel about that?
Gary, they thought they'd obviously gone away, but you haven't. You're still here yet again, and this time on last week, that crowd's increased. Why is that, and where is this all going?
Okay, well, so basically, David, thanks very much for the interview as well. Just want to say thank you for that one, as you always are here every time. I've come here today with my trusty megaphone to basically echo my voice and opinions on what's been going on and how bad it's got. After the demonstration last Saturday, we had a strong feeling about the turnout, which I suppose it gets a lot of people down. And I really put it up on the group and I said let's do a weekday one when the people are in the building. And people took us up on the offer, and we had quite a bit of turnout today. And to be honest with you, where it's been raining, it's a Thursday, it's 1 o'clock, and you know, people still turned out. All right, not as many as you'd like to, but that's going to grow, and it will grow in time. Because now they've had the green light to go and put these LTNs everywhere else, the only thing I can see this doing is making things worse. And people will get frustrated, and people will anger when it starts coming in their manner. Now, the way I see it on this, people are very vocal. You know, I've heard today when we were standing out here, one person, I heard, trying having a go at the protesters on the zebra crossing. In my opinion, I don't think these people know what's really going on. They think it's just a way of shutting people down. It's not. We want a freedom for everyone to move around. That's what we've always fought for. And we want consultation. We've not had no consultation. Myself, I've been sacked by Islington Council for speaking out and being against the LTNs. Myself, I've suffered really, really bad through this. Mental health through the roof. I'm undergoing counselling at the moment because of this. Because of the way they've taken away my freedom and my choice. And not only that, made me feel about as big as that in your camera. And that's no way to make someone feel, especially a Labour council. My opinion is I'm a Labour card holder. I have been. and all my life, it's my working life, and I've actually had to sit down and question myself. Why am I still doing that? And the reason is I do have faith in these people who are at the demonstration today. I have faith that we will break through in there and something's going to come of this good. It has to. It can't carry on this way, because if it does, we're going to fall in the cracks, and we're going to be in big trouble.
Well, Labour councillors, who obviously make up the vast majority of Islington Council, have all been voted in by Labour residents. Is there a message you've got for Labour councillors who are inside these buildings doing the work that they were voted in to do? Is there a message for those ones that have got perhaps a bit of a conscience?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm glad you asked that question, David, because in my opinion, what I've seen on the internet and on Twitter, Facebook, is that these Labour councillors have come in and they think that this is the green light to roll out more. Okay? It's not a green light to roll out more. Don't be fooled. Don't fool yourself. Because you know what? As a Labour man myself, you are destroying any kind of working class. That's what you're doing. And in my opinion, you're wolves in sheepskin. And it's only a matter of time before it does come on top and the tables will turn. And when them tables will turn, I want to be there. I want to be there, and I want to tell you I told you so. I hate saying that to my little boy. I told you so. I ain't going to hate telling them I told you so here. So be made aware that that is what's going to happen.
Well, look, you know, if you do a little bit of research, and that expression you used, a wolf in sheep's clothing, well, that actually is depicted in coloured glass, in stained glass.
Yes.
And where's that? It's at the Fabian Society, where Labour Party members, well, basically they sign up for it, don't they?
Yeah.
What on earth is all that about?
But listen, I've got to be honest with you, David, from as I spoke up the town hall here, I spoke today and I mentioned the name Gary Doolan. Gary Doolan was a long-standing person for a working class in this area. I want to bring that back. That's what I want to bring. The working class needs to be heard again. We are being overtook by these people in these little societies. They think they're better than everybody else when they're clearly not. And you know what? There is clever people out there who will take these people down, and they're not going to know what's hit them, because in my opinion, you deserve it. You deserve everything you get. You lost the seats up where the last election happened. You've lost this election. Hartlepool, is that right? Hartlepool, they lost their part. It's only a taste of things to come. I don't want to say that because I'm a Labour man. I don't want to say that, but trust me, I can only see where this is going to go, and it's going to end in tears, not on our half either.
There's one other question I wanted to ask you. Up across several of the forums, there's been concerns voiced by funeral directors in Islington, and some of the comments that have come up are on their behalf, and some of them by one particular director. And it's a great concern at one of the most difficult times in people's lives, when there's been a bereavement, that these LTNs are actually affecting what's going on in their business, and of course are those that are bereaved. Would you like to comment on that?
I'd love to comment on that, because I've been a part of that, where I've had the situation where my father was taken, when he passed away last year in November, and his funeral was, he passed away in October and his funeral was in November. We could only have a certain amount of people, obviously through COVID, but the first questions that was asked by the funeral director was, how do we get into where you live? And that's North Church Road. How do we get into there? I said, well, you've got to go right the way round the houses to get in. They said, and the draw on their face, because not only was it a drawn out process of me looking and seeing my family stressing out through this hard time of my father passing away, but also I could see that they didn't want this to be the case for the family. The funeral director's done everything and above board, but under strain massively. And I can tell you something now, it's a tough job. I've spoken to the funeral directors on Essex Road personally. I don't know them personally, but personally I've spoken to them on one-on-one at my dad's funeral. And they are hard. It's hard graft getting these places where they need to.
Gary, on that rather sombre note, but on the hopeful fact that there are still people out here petitioning to get these changes made, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
When walls had ears, my son, and be like Dad, kick 'em up became the catchphrase off the wall. We stood alone. And when the blackout came, while Jerry played his game,